How we doing? Audio quality good, bad, somewhere in the middle? Ben says hi. Fred says hi. This is turning into an impromptu get ready with me stream actually because I am like I'm super behind on everything. I so y'all know I cook for Universal Studios as one of my jobs, and it's Halloween Horror Nights right now there. So I'm getting nothing but swing shifts, which I'm loving because the money, money, good, and it's also kind of why my like long form uploads are slowing down at the moment. But yeah, I've been busy in the other thing, but like I'm getting like Saturday, like today, my shift starts at 5:30, so we're gonna call this stream at around 4:30 on the nose, because any later than that, and I'm gonna have trouble getting to work on time. But yeah, as I was saying, this is turning into an impromptu get ready with me stream because I'm behind. The cats haven't eaten, so look, Baby Blue and Louisa have an opinion, and they want me to feed them right fast. Oh no, Zoe the cat. I didn't lose any of my cats. I think I I so yeah, I think what happened, and I think this might, lead into the discussion, is that, I mean, and this is what confused me also, I'm not gonna lie, is because Dean P, bless his heart, made a quip about sorry about the loss of Charlie. um I'm sure, I'm sure I'm like way bent out of shape or something like that. And I didn't understand at first because I thought he meant, for whatever reason, I guess when I first saw it, my head was in stray cats mode, and I was like, oh, he means Charlie the stray cat. How does he know if something bad? And then I'm like, oh, it's Charlie Kirk. Oh, yeah. So that's okay. Yeah. So that confused me. But then I was late on the pickup, and I'm like, oh, okay. He. Sorry, Sergeant Jelly. I try to keep my mods fairly limited. Right now, we've got Zoe the cat representing the United States, and Elijah repping Anzac area. But yeah, beep beep blue. We're gonna give the kitties food because I'm late on everything. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I didn't get home from work until like 3 a.m. last night. It was fun. Hi, Delbert. So yeah, so that's it. So yeah, weesh weesh, beep beep blue. So yeah, so yeah, that kind of confused me a bit. The whole Charlie quip, and then I'm like, oh, because I think it's you know I've said it before that both. Hi, hello from Canada, Sergeant Jelly. Also, I'm not sure. Did I say hi to you, Delbert, or not? But if I didn't, hi, Delbert. I want to cover my bases. But yeah, it's Thank you, Lady Locks. You're the best. But yeah, I think it's fairly well. I don't have a political party affiliation in the United States because, frankly, both sides of the political aisle at the moment in the United States are two sides of the same bullshit coin, and I decline. that being said, generally speaking, most of my political views and leanings are on the liberal to left wing side of things. I'm very much in favor of eating the rich, put it to you that way. Yeah, giant meteor is honestly not the end of the world. Yeah, exactly, Elijah. That's what I like in voting in the United States too. And it's really the sanity check where there is no sanity. Hi, Lewis. Where I personally think every time I go to the ballot box in the United States, and it's like, oh, I have Democrat and Republican. It's like I keep flipping the same two-headed bullshit coin, hoping for tails. It's like weird. Yeah, I don't. So yeah, I don't think murder is ever a good call. But I'm gonna go and disagree with that, Sergeant Shelley. I think Charlie Kirk was objectively a bad person, actually. And it's fine if you disagree with me. That's cool. I don't care. And but from the POV of me, a Jewish Californian who feels very strongly about helping out each other, helping out minorities, and trying to be an ally, who cares very strongly about the LGBTQ alphabet people, Rainbow Gang, love Rainbow Gang. I'm kind of part of Rainbow Gang, but I'm not part of the main thing, so I don't want to get on that. But here's what I'm getting at. I do think Charlie Kirk was objectively a bad person. He was a misogynist. He was a homophobe. He was a transphobe. He propagated the Great Replacement theory, which is anti-Semitic in its very nature, and in its modern nature is also xenophobic. But yeah, and yeah, there, I think what he stood for is bad. And I also think that if something bad were to happen to me, Charlie wouldn't shed a tear because another Jewish alphabet person died, who's kind of liberal. Oh no. But I'm not and that's the one thing I'm noticing. I don't celebrate his demise. I don't care one way or the other. DeWalt Dyson, can you chase the cats with the vacuum cleaner? That's funny. Hi, Richard. We're talking about controversial shit. I'm an influencer now, and I kind of hate it. I'm not gonna lie. Thanks. I hate it. All right. How come I will say one thing. Your username really does check out DeWalt Dyson with the vacuum cleaner thing. I don't have a Dyson though. I only have a Shark. That's my vacuum cleaner. I have a shack. Here, you guys get. No, I don't. I can't afford those things. The cheap ones are no good, and the good ones are not cheap. Hey, Boop. Zoe the cat, I have it on good authority that vacuums do indeed suck. My key mark's on the ground. But yeah, getting back to the thing, I don't celebrate his death at all. But and I, and as a matter of fact, and here's the thing I've been thinking about a lot, is that every death, even the ones that, some people think are a good thing to happen, will negatively affect somebody somewhere. So there's always somebody you should have some sympathy for in the chain. Even a person you hate. In the case of Charlie, he was a father, he was a husband, he was somebody's son. They all lost somebody. That sucks. But you know something? And here's where I might be going way out of pocket. You know who else was a husband, a father, somebody's son? Joseph Goebbels. And allow me to say why I chose Goebbels and not Hitler. First off, Hitler wasn't a father, so far as I know. Joseph Goebbels DeWalt Dyson was the chief propagandist for the National Socialist German Workers' Party. He was a true believer, shall we say. And he is also, yeah, rest in piss, bozo. But he is. So yeah, but as far as I see, both Kirk and Goebbels were influential in spreading their message, which a lot of people liked, but I think the majority of people found regressive and repugnant and hateful. And so we should always have sympathy for the families of the deceased. But I think if somebody would have hated you just because of who you are, the same way both Kirk and Goebbels would have likely hated me just because of who I am, then I think there's no obligation to feel anything about the death of somebody. So while I think it's a little gross to see, without pointing too many fingers, I think a lot of the people who are celebrating Kirk's death the most are young college liberals who are still too young, dumb, and full of cum to understand the complexities of life. But the other ones who I feel a lot more for is the people who are actively marginalized by Charlie. So I think I see a lot of I see more coming out of Alphabet Gang than I do cis normal people. I see a lot more celebration of his death coming out of minorities who, felt that he spoke and encouraged a hateful rhetoric. And you know what? I don't vibe with it, but it's part of the American way and the American experience that you should have the right to be like, you know what, rip bozo, fuck you, rest in piss. You would have hated me just because of who I am, and therefore I don't give a shit. And that's, it's a little gross to me because I don't think we should celebrate any death. But in that, but I also have to ask myself, where do I draw the line? Should I celebrate? Should I, a Jew, revel in the death of Hitler because when he died, the age of the Holocaust effectively came to an end? And for the record, this is not to say that there is any equivalency between Charlie Kirk and Hitler, but there is a lot of equivalency, in my opinion, between Charlie Kirk and Hitler's propagandists. See, even Emily kind of was like, yep, we kind of disagree. And I also think it's important, and I also think it's important, to mention that there's always going to be distractions about this in mass media. That cat. There's always going to be distractions about this in mass media. Every time something senseless happens, they say, and, look, so Kat is named Emily. I've had her since 2021. She's a very good girl. But sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. ADD be ADDing. I mean, Zoe the cat, we're already seeing that, which is why I'm like really trying to like walk a tightrope of, diplomacy here. But yeah, by and large, I'm seeing, this is an outrage, but here's the thing. For whatever reason, but, oh, right, that's what I was going to say. They're going to try and, because the shooter of Charlie Kirk had video game related stuff or whatever on the bullets, they're going to try and spin it, oh, video games do this, video games do that, video games are, bad for society. Maybe so. But I think back to probably the first mass shooting event that I was cognizant of, and that being Columbine. And there, the big thing wasn't video games, but it was that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold listened to Marilyn Manson and heavy metal music. And this is what I'm going to say, that the mass media will always try and point the finger at something that is peripheral to the actual problem. They'll say it's video games. They'll say it's music. They'll say, oh, we liked horror movies. They'll say, oh, kids these days are listless. Oh, look, they've got blue hair and the men wear black nail polish and blah, 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 or whatever. And they all do that rather than coming to the conclusion, the true conclusion, that we have a massive mental health issue globally, but especially in America. Our culture is inherently violent in America, so violent that we export our violence to other countries. And that, frankly, there's just too many fucking guns. And it's not to say, and for the record, I like guns a lot. I don't own any because I've had too many issues with in my own history with mental illness that I don't think a person in my position mentally should have the ability to end his own life and the lives of many people with that efficiency. So that's why I don't own a gun. But like, and my parents don't own a gun because they're old school liberals and they're like, guns bad. But like, I have family members who own guns. I have very close friends who own guns. If you are a responsible gun owner, I love you, and let's go shooting together sometime, assuming I can afford the cost of rounds. Damn, that shit's expensive these days. You know? But the problem isn't the guns themselves. It's how easy it is to get guns into the hands of people that shouldn't have them. And I think regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your stance on, you know, how much gun control is too much gun control, where we draw the line, blah, 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 I think we'll all agree that the dude who shot Charlie Kirk probably shouldn't have been allowed to own a gun. I think we should all agree that the person who shot those lawmakers in, I believe it was Minnesota, earlier in the year, shouldn't have been allowed to have a gun. The most recent trans assassin should not have been allowed to own a gun, not because they were trans, but because they were clearly mentally unstable. We say we have a mental health crisis in the United States, that's fine. But if we're going to, but the same way that we mandate vision tests for driving, because if you can't see shit that's coming ahead, you could kill people with your 2-ton projectile. Guess what else could kill people? And there should be regular psychological testing if you're going to be able to own a gun to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't have a gun. And here's the thing. I think that life is a give and take. So if we're going to and this is what government these days don't understand, is that you're going to say, okay, we're going to have more stringent gun control. We're going to mandate a psychological examination before we allow the purchase of the gun. Okay, fine. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get the gun. What can we, the government, offer you in part exchange that will make this pill a little bit easier to swallow? So, case in point, I live in California. We have a 10-round mag limit. We do not allow 50 cal. We also have extremely stringent gun laws. Mass shootings still happen for whatever reason. Well, the proposition that I'm saying is you can tell the people, okay, look, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, sorry. You're going to have to go through an examination to prove that you are mentally stable enough to not commit a mass shooting event in the very near future. But yeah. And we can also discuss about how the testing itself is probably broken, but but you have to start, somewhere. And I think that somewhere for me is that you just have to have more stringent testing. You have to have retesting. I like that's the thing. I think the right to self-defense, the right to form a well-regulated militia is a right, but I think we need to treat the modern guns that are, when the people wrote the Second Amendment, guns were muzzle loaders. They were not rifled. Their accuracy was pathetic. Their rate of fire was at best around a sorry, I misspoke. If you're really good, the rate of fire of a muzzleloader is at best 2 rounds a minute, more or less. Probably more like 1.5. Shit takes time. The framers of the Second Amendment did not see a full auto switched Glock 19 with a 100-round drum mag. So, and this also gets into to discussion about whether the Constitution is a strict document that we should follow strictly, or if it's a living thing that we interpret in the as to the era that we're living in. I like to think it's a living document, personally. But y'all free to disagree with me. Talk about Zion already. Do you mean the shitstorm that's going on in Israel? I really would rather talk about the issues plaguing the country I live in. Like, if we have to talk about Israel, we'll talk about Israel eventually, but I think I've made my POV abundantly clear on that issue. Well, the Cliff Notes version is that my father is Israeli, I'm Israeli American. I do believe that the state of Israel should continue to exist in some form. However, I do believe that the state of Israel in its current incarnation, especially with people like Benjamin Netanyahu and Yitzhak Ben-Gvir and all these people, these extremists, these nuts, it's become effectively Israel has become a genocidal lunatic state. And what they're doing to the Palestinian people is absolutely unforgivable. Let me put it to you this way. I don't celebrate death ever, but if something horrible happened to Bibi Netanyahu, I'd be relieved because I think it would be a net positive for the world. And for Israel too, because he is a criminal. He is a embezzler. You could argue that the October 7th attacks, we're going out of pocket here. Okay, everyone get your tinfoil hats on. The October 7th attacks were the October 7th attacks were absolute false flags because Netanyahu was going to get voted out. He had a bunch of criminal indictments waiting for him in the Israeli Supreme Court. The dude was going to go to jail. So he decided, because keep in mind, everyone talks about the Israeli Mossad as being one of the top intelligence services in the world, if not the best. And yet they didn't see a massive thing coming. Now, keep in mind, intelligence fails all the time. In retrospect, there were a lot more signs that 9/11 was coming, and yet it still happened to the United States. So, like I said, there's failures of intelligence all the time. The question is the failure due to the question is, it's the Hanlon's razor question is, do we attribute this to malice or do we attribute this to simple stupidity? Sorry, yo, I had to drink my chalky milk. Yeah, if you want to donate, man, go ahead. Super thanks are an easy way if you want to. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that YouTuber bullshit. And in other news, let me lighten the mood and move away from Baby Blue. Or no, that's Fred. Where is Fred? I forgot I made the Fred GIF or the Fred emoji. Do I have a Baby Blue emoji yet, Elijah? If not, I gotta make a Baby Blue emoji. Baby Blue. Baby Blue. Baby Blue. No Baby Blue emoji? All right, I'll make one when I get a chance. There's so many things I gotta do in life. Like, oh, Elijah. Sorry. I'm sorry. Everyone else except for me and Elijah, talk amongst yourself for a second. Because okay, Elijah, I had an idea. You're gonna love this. And if you are cool with this, just get in contact with me in Discord with the like relevant stuff. And Subculture Femboy. Hey, I love the femboys. Do you know where I'm from? Guessing based on the writing, you're Greek. But so yeah, Elijah. So here's what I was thinking. So for the 19, I bought it for $45 America. I'd like to make 25, or sorry, not 25. I'd like to make $20 profit overall, and it cost me about $20 worth of gas to drive to pick up the lock. So all things being equal, I think this is very funny. I think all things considered, I think my total costs are about $80 US. Well, so Tyrus, that's because that's not Cyrillic. I know what Cyrillic looks like. I also know what Greek looks like, and that's Greek. If anything, if I was gonna get confused, I'd be like, oh, it's far away. My eyes aren't working today. It looks like it's Thai or Burmese or Lao or one of those like Southeast Asian scripts, but definitely not Cyrillic. Not Russian, not Ukrainian, not Belarusian, not Bulgarian. None of those languages. Not even close. But yeah, so as I was saying, Elijah, I was doing the math. 125 Australian dollar dues is exactly 81 US dollars, which is pretty much exactly what my cost is, as it were. So what do you say to 125 Australian dollar dues as the final sale price? Because I think it would be because I think it's fun if it's good, if that works for you, because I think that would be funny, and I think 125 American dollars is what a Master Lock 19 usually goes for these days. So I think it's kind of funny. You get the Australian dollar due price instead of the American greenback price. We got a thumbs up. Okay, Elijah, get in touch with me with your PayPal, and we'll also like sort out, because I know international postage is gonna suck. But yeah, final price minus postage is 125 Australian dollar dues. Delbert, to answer your question, I recently purchased a used Master Lock 19 in extremely good condition overall for $45. And the thing is that I already have a 19 of my own, and it's bad to have it. Sharing is caring. It's bad to have too many of things when you can distribute these things around the community. So yeah, as soon as they get things squared away, and hopefully there's no like tariff bullshit or something like that, we will be sending this 19 to the land down under. Oh yeah, this thing is a chunker. This thing is a chunk. Oh, so what got me interested in locks? I've always been interested in locks because I grew up in a house with Medico locks, which is a Delbert. Too late. Sorry, friend. But Delbert, I know you're always looking for locks, and I've got a bunch to send out. So like, send me your address in a thing in Discord, and I'll send you like a care package, like everything I can fit into like a small like flat rate box. Because like, I got like a bunch of Master 6835s that were given to me from Paracentric that I need to move on. So yeah, like that. I've got friggin' 8 brass ace padlocks. I've got some cool rare master locks because of course I've got cool rare master locks. So yeah, hit me up in the Discord with your address. I'll send you a care package. And also I'll send you some of these. And also, I'll send you some of these challenge locks because I got to get them out my freaking house, or otherwise they're just gonna like melt into the center of the earth like an ingot. So I don't magnet fish the locks, Sir Armo, but I do go to non authorized love lock locations around my city, and I pick the locks, and so I remove them from bridges and freeway overpasses and stuff like that where they shouldn't be. And I don't restore those usually because most of them that I manage to pick are in operating condition. But some of them I do definitely restore, like if they're cool, especially like, if I, want to. Yeah, but Delbert, think about the problem. It would be. I do like the idea of magnet fishing for the keys. The problem is that you'd have your target is the tiny little key ring, and you have to hope that the key ring is made out of something ferrous, because the keys are brass. That's non-magnetic. And so you got to hope for the key ring. And it's definitely a possibility because. Excuse me. A brass magnet? Tell me more, Zoe the cat. All right, second question. What was the second question? Zaddy's answering questions here. Oh, and I missed out on saying a bunch of hellos from people. Hello in Japan. Hello in Japan. Hello from California, Gabriel Garcia. I'm also in California. Would I sell a diamond ring in exchange for a rare lock? No, but I mean, I wouldn't sell a diamond ring in exchange for a male lock. For a rare lock. SE lock and key. Brass magnet. Like I want, I want this to be true because big if true because pin hunting would be so much easier. But like a part of me is like, this has got to be an April Fool's joke. There's brass is non-magnetic. Like, is he talking about an electromagnet? But I don't know, bro. But yeah, so to answer the second question, wouldn't trade it for a diamond ring because some things are more valuable than locks. But that being said, yeah, I mean, I'd definitely trade some piece of shit CZ jewelry for a Master 19. And like that's the thing. Would I trade a diamond ring for um for a a rare lock? No, but have I spent large amounts of money on locks that most people wouldn't do? Hell yeah. I mean, I think all of us in the lock sport community have probably gone. Wait, hold on. You mean to say that the total amount of money I spent last year on locks and lock related stuff had a comma in it? 4 digits. Really? Wow, I got to be more responsible. Yeah, I'm sure we've all had that conversation with ourselves. It's just like, I spent how much? I did what? And that's why we're all discussing this Master 19 because I managed because these things are very valuable on the used market and the going rate for one in the United States is usually around 125 US dollars on average. Yep. Me too, Delbert. Used car money has definitely been spent. No, I wouldn't say it's a subculture of magnet fishing culture at all. It's two completely separate things. I think magnet fishing is a lot closer to beachcombing in its in its in its pursuit. Oh, Zoe the cat. Dude. You hold on one second. Let me get the fucking let me get the iPad. All right. Also, just to be clear, we're not talking anymore about the Charlie Kirk situation. I've said my piece. We've all talked about it. We move on. We can talk about the next school shooting when that one happens, because it will happen. Oh, right. There was a school shooting. There was another school shooting the same day that Charlie Kirk died in Denver, where my brother is a DDA. Yeah, Delbert. When I say beachcombing, I mean those guys who go along the surf with the metal detector and the scooper, and they're like those dudes. So it's going to be a little bit. Shut up, self. What was all right? Fleabag. Speaking of eBay, check out my new lock. I got a Federal 90A. It's formerly from Johnson and Johnson. Or sorry, Johnson and Johnson Lotto lock. I like this. This is also very good lotto technique. We've got it's serialized. So M097. M097. 1097. Good lotto practice. Oh, somebody got a great. Why did I not pay attention to that? You know, I do love bagels, but I haven't had a bagel in way too long. That's a problem. But yeah, also whoever I don't know if anybody here in the chat got this American 7747 for $61. I'm very jealous of you. All right, so looking for. Come on, internet, work faster. Also, I don't know if anybody's interested, but this American lock padlock display looks super cool. That's the price at the moment. Shipping's pretty expensive, but I mean, it's a full American lock store display. But what makes it even cooler is, well, first off, you get a 748, but the 700 and the 5200 are both 100 anniversary editions, and the puck lock is a series 2500, the cool one where the key was in the front. This is David's eBay recommendations. Check them out if you've got disposable income. But like, yeah, Zoe the cat. I have been staring at this $60 offer thing for so long, and all the locks suck, in my opinion. Well, they're all kind of whatever things. Why is my internet so slow? Why is the? But I really want this Weiser padlock, and I'm almost prepared to pay $60 just for the Weiser. Because it's a rekeyable Weiser padlock, and I want it. I want it. I want it badly. But apparently the listing that I was actually looking for, I can't find anymore. But somebody listed like a bunch of Master Lock padlocks, one of them being a 19 for sale. But I really wanted the gold-plated 15. And I was like, you know what? I'm almost willing to buy all of these locks just for the gold-plated 15 from the 50th anniversary edition. Yeah, I don't. Facebook is wild, and sometimes I don't understand. Honestly, a part of me is like, why do I even still have Facebook? Like, it's just got some of the worst. Like, as far as social media platforms, Facebook is up there with like the worst vibes. Like, it's up there with Twitter as far as the vibes being absolutely terrible. Hey, G Keyman, how we doing? So I can't find that listing. It must have ended, but yeah, that was a cool listing. In other news, here's some pics from the David Romano eBay if anybody's interested. For you Wackaloon Master Lock collectors, this 576 with the short shackle shackle's been discontinued for quite some time, so this might be interesting. Let me see, especially if you're in Europe, this rekeyable Yale stainless steel pad or stainless shackle padlock. There's two of them available. Looks pretty cool. It's got the Yale keyway. It's 10 pounds. Let's see. This Abus padlock blue covered housing standard shackle rectangular brass 1 key, which has the mini 888 keyway, is kind of cool. I was gonna be like, I actually have one of these. They're a lot of fun to pick. This one's really cool. It's too expensive, but look at this. It's a Klein Tools branded lock made by American Lock. So cool. And then let's see what else. All right, now we're getting into the things that, like, I hope one of y'all buy them because I'm so tempted to buy them myself. First off, this super cool brass CISA US lock with the Yale keyway, with the rekeyable bottom plate. Let's go. This thing, $35 plus the shipping is way too expensive, but God, I want this thing really badly. Someone please scoop it up so I am no longer tempted. It looks really nice, and I bet you that body would polish up real nice too. And also this lot, heavy duty padlocks with keys, high security set, lot of 6. So let's start with the Doo-Doo Kaka. This master lock combination lock is shit, but you get 3 American Lock shrouded padlocks, one 5300, another 5300 still in the package, and a 5360. Plus you get 2 Abus 2870s just, just thrown in. All yours for $58 OBO. Somebody please. Yeah, these are David's top picks for the week, by the way. In Flea Bay. Yeah. So Arma, there really isn't much of a trauma story. I always liked locks, and then one day I was perusing YouTube and lock picking lawyer came up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. This looks like something I'd be into. And it turns out it was indeed something I'd be into. You know what else I'm into? Beep beep blue. Beep beep blue. He's a baby blue. Baby blue. Baby blue. Baby blue. Baby blue. Blue, 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 blue. He didn't like me kissing his ass. So you should never kiss people's ass. In life, it's rules to live by. By the way, if anybody's curious, Emily is. I do feed stray cats. I do indeed feed stray cats. Hello from India, or well, hello in India. Yeah, I do most of my long form videos. Like when I live stream, I'm mostly just BSing and picking locks and stuff. But yeah, I most of my long format videos are of me feeding stray cats, and as a matter of fact, Baby Blue used to live at the colony where I feed the cats, and I brought him home, and he's here now. Emily was not at the colony; she was a shelter pet. But yeah, I'm doing my absolute best to completely ruin my favorability with the YouTube algorithm by not focusing on one topic and doing that, because how many stray cats do I have? So Currently in the apartment, there's 7 cats, not all of whom are former strays. 2 of which are available for adoption. They're my fosters. And at the colony, I'd say there's between 15 and 20 cats, of which I probably see about 10 of them on my visits. The rest of them are really shy. So yeah, that's pretty much the situation with the stray cats. I do my best. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't, but at least I can sleep at night knowing I did my best. Speaking of doing my best and sleeping at night and wondering how the fuck certain people can sleep at night, I'm gonna have to check. 77 combined points, 984 total yards. Giants, Cowboys. It's only week 2. Sorry, my ADD just got an update from Bleacher Report about sports ball happening, and I got to be honest with y'all. I love American football so much. I love the NFL. It's incredible. Oh wow! Last second field goal. Hell, fuck! I don't even care that it was the fucking Cowboys that won. Overtime to win 40-37. That's going to be a fun game to witness. Dr. Popo. Yeah, me and Delbert are very much in agreement here. The yerba buena or no, sorry, not yerba buena. The yerba mala is the good shit. Yerba. I think yerba buena is technically like chamomile or some shit like that. Somebody with better Spanish speaking skills than me, please let me know what yerba buena is. But yerba mala is the mota, the ganja, the loud pack, we had, speaking of which, I titled this stream Pickwatch 2025, mostly just so I could be, which Premier League team do I support? I gotta be honest with you, Noe. I don't. I'm way too seppo to give a shit about football where they actually use their feet. That's like, man, and I'm joking here for the record. But to be honest with you, I don't really follow any Premiership team or whatever. Yeah, what Delbert said. It's called soccer. It's called soccer. Anyway, sorry, but I gotta have a little bit of trolling. We can joke about it's called soccer. The United States men's team frickin' sucks. That I know. But yeah, I mean, I don't really care. Yeah, well, and the thing is, Noe, I will say one thing is that English soccer chants are elite. They're quite well, Delbert. Technically, 2 guys because the kicker and the punter get to use their foot. Well, actually, it's 2 guys because they're 2 separate guys. One's the kicker and one's the punter. Anyways, But yeah, I do love. Well, that's because also think about it in a lot of in a lot of places up until like the college level, the kicker and the punter is the same dude. I mean, famously, Pat McAfee was both the place kicker and the punter at the University of West Virginia, and was, I believe, All American in both at both positions. Uh, I do quite love hockey. I'm not gonna lie. I do quite love hockey, and it was a lot of fun when the Kings were up for those few years. Like that was a fun time to be a hockey fan in LA. Rugby is pretty cool. I wish it was more popular in the United States. Like that's the thing I've noticed. Yeah, they do. They do. I'm in my 30s, so it's not their money that's being spent on my lock thing. Um, but yeah, I do. Yeah, but yeah, as I was saying, yeah, rugby in general is insane. But I haven't watched nearly enough women's rugby. I need to get into that. But yeah, like one thing I am realizing is that when it comes to football, for me, I prefer the versions of football where the ball is peanut, like almond shaped. Like I like rugby, I like American football, I like Canadian football, which is American football but with universal health care, and I like um from what I've seen of Aussie rules football, that looks like a lot of fun to watch too. Although whoever put whoever made an egg shaped field, I'm sure stadium designers love you. Yeah, actually it's probably not that bad because you Aussies also like cricket and that's on a round field, so you can just make the egg shaped out of the round field. But whatever. Math and science. But yeah, as I was saying, I do quite love English Premiership chants. Like whenever, like I do love watching Man U and Man City play, and there's the city is yours, the city is yours, 50,000 empty seats. Are you fucking sure? That's good shit. Or like I was loving like all the teams in like all the teams in like Scotland and Northern Ireland and shit when Liz died. Lizzie's in a box, Lizzie's in a box. Loved it. Loved it. As a devout anti-royalist, aka American, yeah, put Charles in a box too. With his big ass ears. Hello, I'm King Charles. Or sorry, no. Hello, I'm King Charles. This is what decades and millennia of inbreeding will do to your ears. It's dab time. Won't you join me? No, it absolutely isn't, Sir Arno. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it a stack here. As far as like attraction to men, I have way more interest in Greek femboy than big black guy. Um, Honestly, the big black fantasy is kind of racist if you think about it. Like it really comes down to like like a mandingo, type thing. Yes, it is indeed a bong, Zoe the cat. It's the Nexus puck, which is in the shape of a puck. And if you were like, hey, how much money did you spend on this thing? $275 10 years ago. But yeah, I quite like it. I've had it for a long time and it's paid for itself. And the thing is you pay for quality. You do pay for quality, and this thing is quality. All right. You guys get to watch Baby Blue while I'm dabbing. I'm not a weed tuber, that's for damn sure. Yeah! What up, YouTube? Bangladeshi Dean P in the house! Devil on your shoulder, oh no. Well, Dean, you missed out on me discussing the Charlie Kirk thing. We're not going to rehash that. But pack out. Well, the great thing about I'm like, that's the thing. That's kind of where I am. So Armo, I live in California. Marijuana is legal here. I feel, and supposedly our current government is very in favor of big government. Or wait, no. Supposedly our current government is very pro states' right, or our current federal government is very pro states' rights and very anti big government. Not sure if I believe that one, considering the fact that ICE agents are in Los Angeles. But generally speaking, it's legal in my state. The federal government won't bother me because look what color I am. Oh, Dean, I don't know if you noticed, but government done been fucked for a long time now. Well, so Armo, to answer your question, let me quote let me quote Mitch Hedberg. I thought my teeth were white until I washed my teeth, or I thought my teeth were white until I washed my face with Noxzema. My teeth are not white. They are off-white. I'm not even white. I'm off-white. So yeah, I'm off-white. But oh yeah, Delbert, I do actually. It's a little bit broken, but it's a cat carb cap. It's a kitty cat. One of the ears and the other arm fell off over the years, but yeah, kitty cat carb cap. Yeah, this is my dab for the flow state because I'm gonna have work and I have work in 2 hours, so we'll get ready. So this is okay, fine. We're now a WeedTube channel. Yeah. My pearl, like, dude, my nail and my look, I've been meaning to get new nails and pearls and stuff for so long, and then I just don't because I'm dumb. But like, yeah, like, look, this nail is gross, and by that, it's well seasoned. All right, to answer questions very briefly, and I know I have very little left. So I don't really smoke weed flower anymore. Smoke stuff that looks like this. This is dabs or BHO or wax or live resin, um, whatever you want to call it. But it's a form of hashish, which is pretty concentrated. This is, roughly 80% THC. Um, and instead of smoking it by lighting uh, uh, a joint on fire or sparking a bong up, um, you you heat up a attachment, often made out of quartz or titanium, in until it's warm. Insert small amount of hashish into thing and allow to vape. Yeah, I nail, but like nobody uses the nail type anymore because everyone use yeah, it does make it look like drugs. That's the one thing is that from a distance you can't tell whether somebody's like like oh no, I didn't smoke. I was off camera. Reaper plays. Oh no. Yeah, that's like because I'm like it like I haven't used like a classical nail like a quartz like a domeless nail for like a long time because everyone uses bangers or like what's the other ones that are like super popular like the terp slurper things. Oh no, the no, I'm working the night shift. I am a cook. Ugh, I wish I had an email. I also just wish emails were a little bit more. Yeah, I'm just complaining about sleep because I got home from work. Yeah, no one cares, Jelly. Okay. You fuck with the peak. Okay, yeah, that one looks cool. I don't know why my head is still stuck in the past with the coils with the like big ass box thing, and I like always forget that there's things like the peak now. Yeah. And Jelly, if that's your takeaway from my whole thing, then you missed quite a bit because I did say that he shouldn't have died, and I did say that I feel tremendous sympathy for his family members, but I also said that Charlie Kirk himself was a bad person, and I'm under no obligation to mourn the death of a bad person who would have looked down on me because of who I am. You know, there's I see no reason to glorify the death of 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 a racist, misogynist, homophobic, transphobic, great replacement theory pitching, COVID-19 denying, you know, shitbird. I'm under I'm under no obligation to dignify that man. But that doesn't mean his death should be celebrated. That doesn't mean he should have died. And I hope now that they've caught the man who got it, he should face the full force of the law, whatever that may be. And that's the thing, we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. And we can also talk about the frank irony of the fact that he happened to be talking about gun violence in schools while he was shot. No, Jelly, it's fine. You don't need to apologize. Here's the thing. It's important to have these discussions. It's important to be able to respectfully disagree so we can find our common grounds. Because we don't agree on everything. Yeah, I mean, Dean, that was one of my main talking points, is that mass media will always try to find something. Yeah, mass media is always going to try and find something to twist, to distract from the real problem, which is almost always related to mental health and to the fact that a person had a gun who probably shouldn't have had a gun, in my opinion. And we can disagree. And that's the thing. Like I said, I love guns. Guns are awesome. And I kind of am annoyed by some of the laws in California that restrict your gun ownership. Hello, 10-round mag limit. Hello, no 50 cal. They do blame a lot of things on mental health lately. And I also mentioned the United States is just an inherently violent culture. If you want my take, but more dignified, I'd recommend listening to Justin Hunt, the company man, on his take on the death of Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with all of it, but I align with a lot of it. Because a lot of people say, well, this senseless violence is not us. But if you look at it, especially recently, it very much is us. Violence is the American way. We're a violent people. We're 50 different death cults that are kind of loosely held together by a military industrial complex. I misspoke there. 50 different death cults and warrior tribes. Emily has a point of view. Hey, Boop. She's like, I'm going to look super dignified right now. Baby Blue's like, eh. But as I was saying, but by having honest discussions, in about these things, we can, as long as we're civil about it, like I said in the description, we can find we can disagree, but more importantly, we can find our common ground, which is what politicians on both sides of the aisle don't understand, is that when you get down to the point of the issue, we probably have a lot more in common than you think. You know, if you strip away the culture war bullshit and, you know, recognize that the true American culture is violence and be like, okay, how do we fight that? How do we find our common ground? Well, I think we both agree. I think on all sides of the political aisle, I think we all agree people should not be getting shot in schools. I think that's a pretty basic statement. I think that statement was true when it happened in 1999 in Columbine. I think that statement was true when it happened in Uvalde. I think that statement was true when it happened in Sandy Hook. I think that statement was true when it happened to Charlie Kirk. I think that statement was true that when it happened the same day at a high school I'm not sure if it was high school, in a school in Denver, where, like I said, my brother is a deputy district attorney. There's a possibility that this case goes on him. Probably not, but there's a possibility. You know? And I think we can all agree, regardless of which side of the aisle, that thoughts and prayers ain't cutting it anymore. You know, oh, somebody got killed, thoughts and prayers. No, fuck your thoughts, fuck your prayers. I mean, do that if you want to.
Sorry.
See, I sucker you guys in with cute kitties, and then we talk about big ticket issues. Oh. So now that Baby Blue has excitedly ran away to see something else, Emily gets the mic. Now we get to go back to big ticket issues. So the question is, how do we keep weapons out of schools? Because I think we can all agree people should not be getting shot in schools. And that happens way ad infinitum too often in the United States. So let's first eliminate all the things that the good news is it can't fall down. There's no gap. You know, let's eliminate. So let's find common ground that I think we can all agree on, regardless of which side of the aisle. I think security is holistic. So you know, so okay, so we don't want to restrict Americans' right to gun control, but we do, I think, want to make sure that, or we don't want to restrict Americans' rights to bear arms, but we do want to make sure that we don't let too many guns, or maybe guns at all, get into the hands of people who are going to do horrible things with them, like kill people in cold blood. in schools. Well, how do we prevent that? Yup, playing with a live mic. It is almost impossible. It is almost impossible to prevent all of them, but it is possible to prevent some of them. You know, and here's the other thing that I'll add is that, okay, we're not going to let's not discuss gun control whatsoever. All right? Let's discuss access to mental health in the United States. Let's discuss the fact that mental health services nationwide have been cut. So, if we're going to talk about mental health, let's fund mental health care services. Let's make them open and available to everybody at very low cost. Or better yet, maybe a universal healthcare system, so it's at no cost. Just saying, maybe I can dream. I can dream. By the way, this federal feels like weird because it doesn't fall like most federals I picked are full of spools. This one feels like it's got all standard pins. Like it's got very tough bidding, but I can't. It doesn't fall into a false set at all, and I haven't felt a single spool or serrated. Yeah, he did piss off a lot of people. It's true. You know what? You know what, Rich? I completely agree. You want the mic? Why are you yelling at the mic? You know, and we can also we can also discuss how how downhill, how like politics have been going downhill for quite some time, and it went way downhill even more precipitously with the Citizens United ruling that decided that corporations are people and are allowed to make massive campaign donations, which effectively turned the United States into an oligarchy. Politicians on both sides of the aisle are bought and sold. Look at the controversy that came from the recent article in Wired by Taylor Lorenz, which you can read, I believe, free of charge, about the dark money lobbying within liberal media. I mean, and similar lobbying has been a known thing in conservative media for quite some time, to the point that like they don't even run stories about it because it's so pervasive. You know that's why I was going to say they're always going to try and distract you with some bullshit with the guy who yeah, with the guy who killed Charlie Kirk. They said, oh, he was into video games. Oh, his Discord was this. You know, you know, John, if you're offended by my use of profanity in this insane world and insane time, frankly, I don't give a fuck. Um, you know, there's there's so much bigger fish to fry than language choice, you know? You know, we're living in, we're living in a profoundly irrational and profane time. So I use profanity. Dang, I'm suddenly in the 80s in Brooklyn. What the? Can y'all? God damn! Public fucking enemy, dude. Yo, I'm not gonna show out my window because I don't want to dox myself. But goddamn, there's like a bunch of people in a Prius outside just bopping to Public Enemy. Yeah! Hey! It isn't fight the power. I can't actually like. But yeah, you can tell. I can tell Chuck D's voice from a mile away, and I can also tell the freaking Bomb Squad production. And then of course, freaking, freaking. Oh, see, look, no falset, no nothing. Boom, dude. This thing has all standard pins. I haven't gutted it yet, but I'm telling you, this doesn't have a spool. There is not a spool to be found in this fucking thing. Yeah, what the hell, K? There is not. There is. It should have spools. I agree, Elijah. I picked a lot of Federal locks. They have great pins. But, yo, and this is an actual lotto lock from Johnson and Johnson. Okay, wait, where's my pinning tray? What the fugazis, yo? Oh, sorry, Rich. Can we not proselytize if you don't mind? I'm actually an atheist. And an off the, and I'm what the Jewish people would say. I am an off the derech person. Okay. I'm telling you, dudes. I hope you can hear the sounds coming from outside. This is bumping. I hope I don't get copyright claims. Yeah, please, Rich, stop the proselytizing, or I'm gonna mute you. Like I really don't care. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna as a matter of fact, I'm gonna quote the infamous anarcho punk band Crass. Jesus died for his own sins, not mine. They're playing Naughty by Nature right now. Why people whiling in the chat today? At least they're not whiling in a racist way. I'll take religious whiling and people being way out of pocket over. Uh, no, yeah, straight up. Hey Blair, like I'm gonna just answer you with my true religion. That's just like your opinion, man. Jeffrey Lebowski is my prophet. Or sorry, the dude, man. Not it's the dude. The dude is my prophet. Nahoy, what is this fucking I be stroking my long ass dick? Okay, also, major complaint. Okay, we gotta discuss something. Not for me to get all ages and kids these days, but I have a major thing. Oh yeah, fuck with subhumans too. Dude, Dean P. I was a huge punk in high school, and I still have a huge punk streak. But yeah. Yeah, but I am no feeble Christ. Um but yeah, they're just outside vibing. Mods, please ban this little not wait. But yeah, yeah. I think y'all know where I'm going with this. Dean P, I think, is definitely on my tech. What the fuck is with this Gen Z and Gen Alpha replacement of like letters with like with H? Like, why are we no longer typing out the word ass? We're just calling it face longer. And and here's the thing, I'm not a kids these days kind of person, and I actually like some of the Gen Z slang. I'll be the first one to say I think mid is a very effective way to describe a lot of things in life. Oh, that's just mid. That's fabulous. Love it, Gen Z. Hats off to you for that one. Heck, I titled this stream Pickwatch 2025 partially because I'm trying to be edgy and controversial, but also because I love I personally love the phrase smoking that pack. And on all the derivatives on all the various derivatives on pack. I think that one is hilarious. Uh, uh, Still vibing outside in a Prius. Don't know that there's vibing up beneath us. They're eating on sunflower Cheetos. And they were going to go maybe get Doritos. They were sitting in the ass in a Prius. And they maybe going to listen to Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus. And I'm trying to fucking repin this piece of shit master lock cylinder. Give me a second so I can have space for the federal lock cylinder, which is probably pinned like a master lock cylinder. All standards. But I will say these. But yo, I'm not gonna lie. My bad, Holmes. I accidentally pressed the mute audio button. I do that sometimes. Anyways, I got the freaking master lock cylinder together with some. Or no, sorry. I got the, as I was saying, got the master lock cylinder together. Got the E clip or the C clip off the federal lock cylinder. Let's got the fucking thing with the key. And I am telling you, I am hoping my master lock follower fits in this thing, which of course it doesn't. Let's see. Nope. Yeah. Okay. I think I see where this is going. I need emergency shim. I should have thought about this. I don't know why I didn't get this. I'm sure some of y'all figured it out, but this lock is master key. That's why I didn't feel the spools. They never came into play. All right. That's also why I put the shim in place, because I'm like, there's going to be master wafers coming out of this thing. Okay. All right. Let me also put a light on. I don't know what's going on with chat right now, but I'll catch up with y'all in a second. All right. And now suspense grows. So I'm so scared of the amount of master wafers that are really going to be in here. It's crazy. This is just. It is standard federal lock pinning. It's just there. None of the. It's so heavily master keyed that none of the security features come into play. That is insane. Freaking tiny little freaking master lock size. Master wafers are so annoying. Sorry, I know I'm nonverbal at the moment. I'm trying to focus on these tiny little fucking. All right. let me catch up with chat and show y'all. Jesus Christ, what's going on? Yeah, I'm not even gonna like. I'm sorry. Dean P and Zero Value Life are going back and forth, and I don't really know what's going on, but it's kind of funny. All right, here we go. Focus. I guess that's as close as I'm allowed to focus. That's a little bit annoying. But yeah, standard anti. It's mastered in all 6 positions. These 2 I couldn't get vertical because they're number 1 master wafers. They're super thin. Standard. Yeah. Standard anti-drill stainless in 1, spool in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But it does not. Yeah, it had spools. It didn't matter. They never came into play because it was so heavily. And many of these master wafers made the spools not come into play, and it functioned like an all standard pin lock. So yeah, that's that. So what we're gonna do now is remove all those master wafers. Yep, right now they're gone. They're gone. It'll make life easier for me too, because that means I don't have to put back the little tiny freaking master wafers, because the majority of this is not obviously not the top master key or whatever. So all the wafers are at different levels of shear. That was very cogent. Okay, now that the all right, let's get the springs back in. Okay, standard federal pinning. Is an anti-drill standard in 1. spool in 2. Spool in 3. Spool in 4. Spool in 5. And spool in 6. Excelente. Now let's insert our key and see which key pins we need to replace. I can already tell y'all a couple are going to go. All right, 1 is below shear. 2 is at shear. 3 is at shear. 4 is at shear. 5 is at shear. 6 is at shear. So the only key pin we're going to have to replace is 1, which looks like a 7 or an 8. Cut. Perfect. Brilliant. I love it. That's great. I actually have just the thing for that then, because I got a gift from Paracentric recently. He sent me some Federalock stainless steel key pins, and so I have a very limited supply of Federalock number 7 and number 8 stainless steel key pins, and we are going to be kind to this lock, and I think it's a 7. But we're going to give it the stainless steel. Sorry, and when I say stainless steel, serrated stainless steel key pin. No, it looks like it's an 8. I guess wrong. No, it's the stainless that's throwing me. I guess right. It was a 7. See, I am so very, very many smarty. It's throwing off my perception. Okay, yeah. This has a huge gap. The step here is very steep, and this gap is larger than usual, even without the master wafers inserted. I think I'm gonna still shim the lock, or still insert a shim just for safety's sake. Speaking of which, Jesus Christ, I gotta fix the shims. I was like, emergency shims. Hey, Inferno's in the house. How's it going, man? So yeah, we have now, thanks to Paracentric, replaced the non-functional key. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Shim, David. We need to. I need a bumper sticker that says, when in doubt, use a shim. You don't always need one, but when you need one, you frickin' need one. Key test, which I should have done before then. Okay, yeah, it still works. Oh, the screw's still in the lock body. Now it's cool. Dean, pro tip, all the shims I use, they're not perfect, but they are free. All the shims I use come from inventory control things, like the things they put in DVDs and stuff. They're a little thin, but I kind of like the fact that they're thin because they fit into everything and they're flexible, they're disposable. And yeah, they're pretty cool. But yeah, now it should actually pick at a green belt level. Unfortunately, it's 425, which means I got to call a break very soon and start saying my goodbyes to y'all because I got to hit the road. Here, Western Electric 30C. So far above my skill picking wise, I don't even know what to do with it. But it's cool. I love these lever lock keys that look like city skylines. That is exactly what it is, Mr. Inferno. This is a Western Electric 30C. And it is indeed a payphone lock. It's also a Black Belt 5 lock. So it's so... Dean, it is Black Belt 5. This is one of the hardest locks to pick in the world. It is so far above my skill level, I don't know what to do. But Dig found one that was a very good deal. So I couldn't resist. Call it a birthday present to myself. Lasers would absolutely work to open this, but then again, you would also render the entire lock inoperative. But yeah, I yeah. This the curtain for whatever you want to call it. Um, is hardened steel. It's no bullshit. But if you can, Inferno, maybe try the weak points are probably these 4 rivets. So if you might want to try and target those if you can. Because then you can remove the front plate and the entire lever pack can be removed. Oh, it's yeah. This has something like I think like 8 or 9 levers with false gates plus a blocking fence that engages when you try and tension it. Oh, it sucks. That's a very shitty retirement plan, my dude. I recommend trying to pick the lock to your nearest a cigarette vending machine. Those are the ones with the good money. Don't actually do that. Do not pick locks in use. Do not steal things using lock picking, and do not say that I've taught you how to steal things, because I'm not here to teach you how to steal shit. What I am here to tell you is that it's 4:30 and that pretty soon I got to hit the road because I need to drive to Universal Studios Hollywood, and I'm going to have to drive by the Hollywood Bowl, and it's still bowl season. I don't work for any security company, as a matter of fact. I'm a chef. But I do, but I have, but chefs are allowed to have hobbies too. And one of my hobbies is collecting interesting locks and picking slightly less interesting but still fun locks. Yeah, I'm represent. Yeah, it's 4:30 p.m. here. I am rocking the Packlock T-shirt though, so that's cool. I know Inferno disagrees very strongly with Pack Press about aluminum, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure I disagree with Inferno because honestly, aluminum's like, yeah, it gums up grinders, but it's also just soft as shit. So like, if you want to steal something, just deal with the gumminess. But yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye to Matteo Montano. Hey, we're closing the stream down. Aluminum bronze. I mean, I kind of like I yeah. I mean, I honestly kind of like a super hard stainless that work hardens. Yeah. Oh, so that yeah. Okay, so there's a fiscal reason. A little Shakadine. All right, hold on. The cats want to say goodbye. All right. Emily says goodbye. She also says I'm napping. Don't bother me. That's why my back is towards the wall. She just yawned. She's like, you woke me up, you asshole. I'm very disappointed in you. Yeah, Well, that's where I'm going to. I'm going to work. I'm going to work at Universal Studios Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm going to be cooking a shit ton of tacos. Here we got Zero Dark Baby Blue. He says bye bye. All right, upstairs cats get to say bye too, and then I gotta go to work. Oh, I didn't time you, Sir Armo, but maybe one of the mods did if you said something out of pocket. I don't know. Sunny says goodbye. Louisa says goodbye. She also says hi because you haven't seen her the entire Steyer stream. Fred says goodbye, and Benny says goodbye. Benny. Benny was the mascot for today's stream because he was feeling extremely loving and sociable yesterday, and he decided to lick me very much. Hold on one second. So yeah, meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. I really need to refill that before I go. All right. Dadgummit! As I was going to say. I don't know where it got muted, but as I was going to say. The cats say goodbye. I say goodbye. Thanks for hanging out. Love one another. Don't kill one another. Don't, try to do good in this world and try not to be a piece of shit. And usually good things will happen in the long run. And if you don't succeed sometimes, try again. Anywho, and yes, some things you should never tire of. You should never tire of watching beautiful sunsets. You should never tire of eating delicious food. And you should never tire of making fun of what an awful piece of shit car this Tesla Cybertruck is. These are things you should cherish at all times. Like, it is wonderful. You should cherish your cats as well, or whichever pet you particularly prefer: cats, dogs, ferrets, whatever your thing is. Love the animals. Bye all.